All right. Welcome everybody to another live stream here with Circle of the Earth Fellowship. We're talking about smart cities today, and I think it's going to be quite interesting. So hopefully y'all are excited too, and we'll get into that shortly. But like we always do, we're going to say hello to those who are on the panel tonight. And then we will get into a little housekeeping and then get into it. So let's pull this up. Oh, sharing the wrong thing.
Step up.
Boom. Let's get rid of that.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. So as y'all can see, we got Ethereal Creations with us in the house now. So going forward, we're gonna do some upgrades and some changes to kind of how we're sitting and where my computer's positioned and stuff like that. So more to come there. But for right now, we're gonna kind of shoot at the hip from here and move on as we kind of get those upgrades. So yeah, dude, I'm excited to be in a room, you know, with another person, and I'm super blessed because we're gonna be able. There's a couple other families around here that are Torah observant too. That we're starting a Saturday Sabbath kind of get together, and we're pretty excited about that. So she just brought us dinner. So
That's what I was eating before I sat down. I wasn't trying to be mysterious. I just got done eating.
Yeah, so excited about that. We also got our brother Robert. Welcome, Robert. I just want to make sure everyone can hear you, so if you don't mind saying hello to the people.
Hello, people. Hey, how's everyone doing? I'm so jealous that you can get together with so many.
Yeah, I can hear you. The only where they can hear you is through the microphone. So I just need to figure that out real quick. I apologize, everyone. So that's still on. All right, now try again.
All right, testing,
Nope.
testing, check.
So I gotta push it through a whole separate place. Okay, give me 1 second, everybody. I apologize. It's been a minute since I've streamed, so of course there's gonna be something. Anyways, so we gotta get audio input capture. Let's add that. And we're gonna grab it from. I can't do it that way. Okay, no. Sorry, people. I apologize. Try another thing. So. Definitely not a smart city in this house.
I'm sure they have their own problems.
Output capture. Yeah, I think this is what we want. Yeah, there we go. That's 249. Okay, go ahead again there, brother. Plus, they can't hear me right now. I apologize, everyone. That we're trying something different. I don't. It's not. It's not as simple as just plugging in two headphones and then it works. So I apologize for the no sound. I'm trying to get it so that you're. I swear I had it, but apparently it's gone now. All right, give me a count to 10 and ABCs.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Absolutely amazing. I wish everyone could have heard that, but of course they don't, or we would just be getting into it. But it's been a minute. Like I was saying, it's been a minute since we did this. I think what we're going to have to do is I'm going to have to set this here, and we're going to have to hear the audio through this.
Yeah,
I think that's like our only option right now.
Mm-hmm.
I had to practice doing the alphabet backwards back in my earlier days.
All right, talk again there for us.
Alrighty. Hello, Circle of the Earth. How's everybody doing?
Okay, I think they can hear you now, so I think we're good on both sides. So I appreciate everybody's patience, but yeah, welcome there, Robert. Really good to see you. How you been since we've been taking a break here?
Long see, no time. Been doing okay. Really been kind of a stressful time at work and whatnot. So, what you gonna do? Gotta take it by day.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually got I got a promotion a while back ago, but I have been just slowly getting more and more tasks, and it's definitely, changed more on the. Just came out really loud. Okay, I don't know if you mean me or Rob, but I turned Robert's down a little bit. Ours looks like it's fine. It's just in the yellow, but if there's still issues, please let me know. But and then Kyle here, right? He just moved from Colorado to Utah, so he's had a lot on his plates transferring, from one city to another city for your job and getting your stuff here safely and efficiently, and so you've had a lot on your plate too, and so I'm excited to come back and knowing kind of what we've talked about. Like, I think it's going to get pretty awesome. Not that it's already awesome, that it isn't awesome, but definitely room for improvement. So,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Sweet. Alrighty. Well, you know what? I think we'll skip the housekeeping. We're not going to go through all that. If you want to support, the links are in the description. We are going to be getting some new cameras and some new lighting and stuff like that. So if you feel led to support, again, the links are in the description, ways to do that. You can donate directly, or if you want to get like a shirt or something, that helps as well. If you want to, if you feel led to. If not, no worries. So yeah, let's kind of get into the topic and kind of get our perspectives on it. So episode 38, Build It, Smart Cities. So last episode, for those who weren't here, we talked about DEWs, or direct energy weapons, and how it seems like some of these could totally have been used in the various wildfires and natural quote unquote natural disasters that's happened in and around the United States. We're not even going to talk about the ones that happen across the world, but specifically to the United States, because there's so many. But that kind of leads into, well, why would they do this? Like, why would they just destroy cities and have these whole areas of residents just utterly demolished? And interestingly enough, right, there's a lot of money in insurance claims. Definitely if you know how the weather's gonna go, right? So if you have that kind of pre-knowledge, you can make a lot of good money betting on the insurance racket. So that being said, we now have smart cities in a lot of these places, right? There's at least at the bare minimum talk, people, whether it's the people or the people at the top, talking about installing smart cities, or just the topic of smart cities as an addressment to other issues that we have societal, and trying to at least paint a pretty picture of, like, oh, well, think about how it works right now. We're going to offer you something so much better. You won't have to do anything. Like, the streets will be swept. Like, no more of those type of jobs, right? It's all going to be... And so they're going to make whatever that kind of sell is, that they're going to make it appealing for sure. but they definitely have a lot of the technology behind it, right? Like they have a lot of desire for this outcome, and so I'm interesting to see, like, you know, the things that have not already started, but the things that are proposed to start. Like what are we actually going to get out of this? How, you know, because real quickly, you know, when you have a society that's corrupt, right, then things are not built the way, and we will kind of see that in China, right? China has these huge cities, and I almost feel like they're a like an alpha testing phase for the stuff that they're going to bring here.
Hmm.
And we kind of already do that through the technology, like the phones we buy, the,
Yeah,
you know, the computers
I
we
agree.
buy, the car components we buy. So yeah, what are your thoughts, Kyle?
Yeah, I'd say that their ultimate intention is to get everybody, at least in the system of thinking that they have in mind for these 15-minute smart city style, dynamics where everybody is just controlled through monitoring, and I mean, every your safety is secure through everyone's surveillance, and that's the problem with it, I suppose, altogether. But um, China, it makes it work efficiently, where they you can
Check.
tell on your neighbors and make amazing results by being such a good citizen. But if you ever say anything that's in opposition to the government or in their agenda, then you're going to be silenced rather quickly. So it comes with a, that type of sword there, where it's only for the obedient to the system, unfortunately.
Yeah, and rightfully so, right? In that type of system where you're trying to make a man-made utopia,
Right.
you would have to control all the, you know, kind of range of emotions that leads to murder and theft
Yep.
and all of those things. And so they want to in some way artificially take that out or supplement that human nature to accomplish this goals, right? And places like we'll talk about the line specifically talk about that. You are going to have to be genetically modified in order to live in that city, but the conveniences and the all the benefits that you're going to get from being there are going to seem like a honeypot. It's going to be literally a honeypot, but it's going to seem like this is too good to be true. So yeah, what are your thoughts about smart cities there, Robert?
So how's my microphone right now? I turned on my laptop, so I switched
You're
over.
good. Sorry, I needed to do it like this.
Okay. Alrighty, alrighty. Yeah, well, everything, most everything I do a general research on, it all seems like such a wonderful thing, Um, but you look at some of these other people that I've listened to, like Allison, and uh, you get this Hegelian dialect, uh, it's all this stuff showing all these things and all these problems in the world, climate, and we're going to die, because of the oh, we can't, okay, um, because of all these problems in the world, and we have to do something to help the climate so we can all survive. And these smart cities are such a wonderful thing. You're just minutes away from having anything you need. You don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about your car breaking down, or all sorts of things. You'll see in some of the videos some of the things that they show as being a positive thing. But oh, sure.
Okay, tell me to click the button. Yeah. Dang. Okay. Um. What was I just saying, man? Please help me.
I'm sorry. I saw that. My mind cleared.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Robert, can you please remind me? I apologize, everybody.
Remind you what?
What I was just saying. I was
Smart
muted to them
cities
the
are-
whole time.
You're talking about what's upcoming. You're talking about the
Oh.
social credit score.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's definitely gonna be a part of the smart cities. Like we're gonna talk more about like the infrastructure, and we're gonna talk about all of it, but like we're gonna hone in on that on another episode. But that is totally an aspect that it's gonna be. Like you're gonna get kicked out. Like maybe who knows what kind of repercussions for getting kicked out of a smart city would be. Like if you are part of the military and you get kicked out of the military, right? You get a dishonorable discharge. That's going to haunt you all your days. Like what if you're a bioengineered person that now gets kicked out of the place that has a proprietary technology? You know, I'm just saying, like, there's so many weird things that can happen within a smart city to like you were saying, to be corrections to these issues that society has brought, that we see prevalent in our day now, and how just utterly convenient that in all these places that have talked about having a smart city, they decide, or it just so happens to be that it's burnt down or swept away, or now just this basically open footprint for them to do anything, right? There's no more forests there. There's no more houses there. You know, maybe they can make a lithium mine that is autonomous, right? That it just does what it does and it takes its deliveries. It's run off an AI that dispatches all of the, flying transport, like they could really flip a switch a day, and all of a sudden now, instead of a horse and buggy, you can go down and for a few $100s buy a vehicle, and now your options are open, right? You don't have to feed the horse. Like you can travel into the city now because you don't have to have a horse to get to town, and it literally happens overnight. So in the same way, we could see something happen overnight, and I was really inspired to specifically talk about this because of Trump, right? Like, I will look at Trump and see, yeah, he is doing positive things that I think that any president before him should have and would have and it should have done, right? And but yeah, I know the weird stuff, right? I know the the whole play of him getting JFK'd, and all of those things. Like I don't trust him, but I eat the meat and I leave the bones, and there's a lot of bones with him, but I could really see him making these pushes technologically and being accepted to do it, right? Because he's the builder, he's the he knows how to get things done, and maybe he would have things get done, right? And then it's now this sophisticated AI smart cities that are boxed in America, and we're like, oh, we're on the inside.
It's like a breakaway civilization from the rest of the world that is actually a prison of a dystopian nightmare.
Yeah. What are your thoughts there, Robert? Oh, I can't hear him now.
Oh.
No, that was me. No, just keep going. I'm listening in right now.
Well,
oh wait, you're taking a bite. I gotta talk. I gotta.
No,
feel...
it's fine. It's fine. I apologize for taking the bite. I just had
that
came out right. Oh, go ahead.
I just put in the chat about if your home was deleted by something, and you only got $750 loan from our helpful government, and you're not given a hotel room in New York, your options might be limited, and you might, even if you don't want to, you might have to go take residence in some smart city.
Yeah, and what if they give you like a legit good deal? What if they give you $1.50 on the dollar, right? Like, come move here, start your business here, right? We're going to supplement all of these things, like your logistical costs gone. We're gonna handle that. Your electricity, your internet, your all that's no more bills for that. That's provided for being in the community, right? They're going to sell it. Just kind of think about as a microcosm, Netflix, right? Netflix was this like where you got the best of the best of the deal on the entertainment that you wanted, right? You didn't have to drive there. You didn't have to like go through there and pay an extra top of fee because they have a brick and mortar stores and an overhead that they pay for. They send it right to your door, right? And then they caught along and like, okay, out of the physical to the digital, they went right along, but they got that up to a point where they're like, okay, now it's switched where we're making money off of you. This is no longer a free ride. This isn't, all of those things that made this a business model that served the people. Stripping those, this is for profit now. And so I think that kind of bait and switch can happen very easily with a technocracy, which it seemingly like that's kind of how he's pushing is he wants to be this new leader in technology. You get the Mark Zuckerberg. I don't know if you saw this, but he like kind of did a switch and is kind of now.
It was Biden blaming Biden that they were like,
holding
him at knife point,
yeah,
threatening him. You better take these. It's like, okay, cool story. We know you're a flip flopper anyway.
Yeah, well, he recently said that he thought that phones were going away, and the new thing will be AR glasses.
Well, yeah.
So you're gonna put these glasses on, and you're gonna have. You're no longer people walking around with their camera on you, but literally everyone's going to have a camera.
And they'll have an overlaid display of something that you can't necessarily control.
Yeah.
And, I mean, how do you know what you're looking at? It may, that's how real it can be.
Well, on that side, right, on the user side, but thinking about the other person that wants privacy, that wants...
Oh, yeah.
Right, like, okay, well, yeah, you don't get privacy in public... But it's like now every move from every bit, like how many angles, like, and if they really had the money and the power to put it in a computer system, right, like a supercomputer, they could get to levels of Minority Report where they know what you're going to order before you buy it. Before you purchase
voluntarily by giving your information to them on how the human mind works and how they can sit there and predict it. Well, yeah, and that makes total sense. It's a little scary, but they don't come up with these movies out of anywhere, and they come up with these shows out of anywhere, which is amazing because they always seem to include these smart cities that are super surveilled with their own like tyrannical police force that's military. You can't.
It's almost like it kind of reminds me of like where it's not gonna be nations, it's gonna be corporations. It already kind of is, right? But not outwardly. But I'm saying like no, like it's gonna be these mega cities, right, that are smart cities that have to have like their own kind of sovereignty to run because it's going to be like a corporation. It's going to be for profit. It's not going to be, and then I could see that the government then subsidizes those mega smart cities with funds for robots, flying vehicle, like kind of some of the required things, transportation, logistics support, all of those type of things. So yeah, it's definitely going to be intense like when they start pushing it. And I think because of the type of technology that it is, when it's pushed, it's going to be like sci-fi. It's going to be weird.
Some people probably would say that we're already at that point.
Yeah, not openly though, right? Like they're not openly, like, okay, for instance, Trump said he wanted to, like, we led the industrial revolution when it came to the automobile and making it for cheap, and putting it, being able to put it into a factory and slap it together in 90 minutes, right? That ability, Trump basically wants to do that with what he called air mobility. So kind of what we were talking before, where you don't own that flying car, right? That's too much to give someone one power, right? That they could just easily, if free energy, fly wherever they wanted at any point, right? So they would have to provide it as a public service, which then the government would control, right? Mm-hmm. And then if the governments are controlled in essence by corporations, then right, the corporations that get the deals to make the cities, to make the transportation, etc., those are going to be the ones that are going to be the United States of corporations, right? Sure. So, yeah, pretty crazy. Sweet. All right. Well, let's we're gonna share some videos real quick and discuss them. So let me pull that up for everyone, and that's gonna be this one. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Okay. Pull that up, and then I'm gonna make sure I am gonna put this on so I don't get in too much trouble. Okay, let's drop that. Oh.
How smart is your city? Chances are it's getting smarter by the year. Many governments around the globe are racing to infuse technology into just about every aspect of its city's operations. And I mean every part.
Including public transportation, IT connectivity, water and power supply, sanitation, and...
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Can everyone hear that?
solid waste management, efficient urban mobility, e-governance, and citizen participation.
And it does this using every buzzword imaginable, from big data to the Internet of Things.
So how does a smart city work? Let's look at 3 examples.
Here in Singapore, the city-state might be the gold standard of the most extensive effort to collect data on daily living.
The government is now deploying systems that can tell when people are smoking in prohibited zones or littering from high-rise housing.
Singapore launched its own Smart Nation program in 2014 and will add more cameras like these so the government can effectively monitor crowd density, cleanliness of public spaces, and even the exact movement of every locally registered vehicle.
Much of the data it's collecting will be fed into an online platform called Virtual Singapore that gives the government access to how the city is functioning in real time. It could help the government predict how crowds might react to an explosion in a shopping mall, or how infectious disease might spread. Over in Dubai, more than 50 smart services from 22 government entities have been rolled out as part of the government's Smart Dubai initiative. Using the government-provided app Dubai Now, you can do things like pay a speeding ticket, which likely captured you on a public camera and then emailed you the ticket directly. You can also use the same app to pay your electric bill, call a taxi, track a package you sent to your friend, find the nearest ATM, renew your vehicle registration, track the visa status of a relative, and report a violation to the Dubai police. Now head over to Barcelona, where one research firm estimates the city will save billions of dollars a year in energy costs just by installing smart systems like these. Number 1, smart streetlights. Public lighting that adapts and dims when there's no activity but brightens up when sensors detect motion. The second, parking sensors. Instead of driving in circles looking for a spot to park, drivers can get real-time information on an app which locates free parking spots. Sensors on the street curb use lighting and metal detectors to know if a parking spot or loading area is occupied. And finally, garbage sensors, which are actually compact drop-off containers which have a vacuum network through pipes which sucks up trash below ground. The automated waste collection not only lowers noise pollution from garbage trucks, but also lowers costs and keeps bad odor away. Juniper Research estimates that by 2021, cities will save nearly $19 billion by making their cities smart.
But of course, to save money, sometimes you have to spend it first. The global smart city market is estimated to attract $15 billion by 2021, and that's just for software. So now companies from Microsoft to Cisco are aiming for a piece of it. In Singapore, Upton Saidi, CNBC.
Still watching?
Alrighty. Yeah, that's just a little bit of what they're doing. And that's like, and we've talked about this before. They obviously do. They obviously show us much less of what they actually have, right? Like, they're not showing us their full hand. And I think that's because if they were to show their full hand, the truthers that are out there would see that, right? And when they saw that, they would start preaching against it. And that would obviously hurt their plan. And so they have to do it like as quietly as they can to get as many normies to go along with their plan. They need to be that fly that's then too drunk to notice that that the mouth is closing around it. And that's way easier to do in a smart city where you limit everything, right? Like there's no garbage trucks that you can get away with because they have a garbage chute, right? Like you can't go anywhere because your ID is attached to a number that you go to a taxi. Nope, sorry, we have to report you right now. You can't get on the hover drone to fly to your destination because all these reasons. They could literally do whatever they wanted. And if it was a corporation, right? Even more, if it was a corporation that had control, well, it's like, well, they have free speech, they have rights, they have all of these things that a city normally wouldn't be able. Just a normal city, they wouldn't have that power over you, right? Because it's the city is owned by someone, but it's the city's for the people. It has to run that way, where they can change the rules, right? They can update the terms and service of your residency very quickly. And so
that seems to happen in China.
Yeah. You have dude, I've seen one room, like a studio, what would be a studio apartment here, and they have cage, stacked 3 high, where they're just living in this 3 foot by 3 foot cube, basically.
And they're not smart cities. That's just the digital ID part.
Yeah. Just the tracking, the
surveillance aspect of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
All right, let's see. We got so quick in here. I'm gonna jump over here real quick. We're gonna watch this for a minute.
Imagine a sprawling metropolis
and then we'll come back and talk about it.
In the middle of the American desert west, complete with futuristic infrastructure and carefully planned roads and streets filled with autonomous electric vehicles. A city that combines the sprawl and diversity of New York, the efficiency and connectivity of Tokyo, and the governance and sustainability of Stockholm. An insane multi-billion-dollar plan to create a futuristic city similar in scale and ambition to Saudi Arabia's The Line. Today, we'll be taking a look at the future city of Telosa, America's version of The Line. The city of Telosa is a planned development that promises to not just be the city of the future, but also to be a completely new model for society. In a similar vein to megaprojects like Saudi Arabia's Neom, these planned megacities are a response to the emerging problems of today's world, such as overpopulation, pollution, and climate change. These future cities aim to redefine what it means to create a thriving city from scratch that is designed to be sustainable, resilient, inclusive, and equitable for all of its residents. The name Tolosa comes from the ancient Greek word telos, which can roughly be translated to the greatest purpose. First unveiled to the public in September 2001, Tolosa is the brainchild of American billionaire Mark Lohr. Shortly after stepping down as president and CEO of American retail powerhouse Walmart, Lohr announced his ambitious goal to create the planned city of Tolosa. Through his visionary project, he aims to create a more equitable and sustainable future that can become the blueprint of future generations. In charge behind the master planning of Tolosa will be world-renowned Danish architect Bjarke Ingels, who has previously been commissioned by Toyota to create a smaller, smart future city in Japan. The core concept behind Tolosa, and the reason as to why it's being planned in the first place, according to Lohr, is to create a city with the needs of the people serving as its foundation.
To focus on what's most important, culture, values, and really putting people at the center.
As it stands, more than 50% of the world's population currently lives in cities. This figure is expected to increase to as much as 70% by the year 2050. Because of this, cities have become important centers for education, research, and economic opportunities for millions of people. And although cities have brought much growth to a few handful of individuals, not everyone directly benefits from the development. This increasing wealth gap is precisely what Lohr and Tolosa are trying to solve. The goal is to build a city wherein everyone will have equal opportunities for growth, no matter their socioeconomic or cultural background. To achieve this vision of equality, at the heart of the plan is an economic system known as equitism. The idea behind this system is to create a community wherein the people will directly benefit from the growth of the city. In this system, Tolosa will own all of the city's land, while its citizens are given the freedom to build and sell homes on top of this land. Ideally, as the city grows, land values will also grow alongside it. These generated funds will then be invested back into the city through public services, transportation, education, and healthcare, thus fulfilling the vision of equity, wherein all citizens have equal access to high-quality services. Although the final location for the city of Tolosa has not been decided, the people behind it are planning to build the city on desert land in the American West, in the states of Nevada, Utah, Idaho, Arizona, or Texas. Another consideration is for the city to be built somewhere around the Appalachian region, over in the east. But out of all the available land in the United States, why are they planning to build Tolosa in the middle of the desert? One of the main reasons for this decision is that there is plenty of cheap and readily available undeveloped land in the American West. And with Tolosa's plan of reimbursing increasing land values back into city services, this cheap land has the potential to pay for itself as the city grows over time. Although the land for Tolosa's eventual construction may come at a relatively cheap price, building a bustling metropolis in the middle of the desert isn't exactly the most ideal or even smartest undertaking. Saudi Arabia's recent construction on Neom and the Line have clearly showcased these problems that Tolosa might encounter, as well as in the future. Initially planned to be partially completed by 2020 and expanded upon in 2025, Neom's construction is already behind schedule. It turns out that building on undeveloped desert land first requires the construction of operating facilities to house construction equipment and personnel in the unforgiving climate. Some other problems that Neom and the Line are currently facing right now are high temperatures, water availability, and the energy impact of constructing an entire city from scratch in a harsh environment. Tolosa is also planned to be fully powered through renewable sources of energy. Each building in the city will have photovoltaic cells installed on their roofs, while strategically placed wind turbines across the city's borders will provide additional capacity to power Tolosa. The city is planned to generate more power than what it consumes, making it a self-sustaining city when it comes to electricity generation. Additionally, at the heart of Tolosa will be the Equitism Tower, the city's tallest structure that will serve as an iconic landmark and a beacon for the city. The tower will house an observation deck, an elevated water storage system, and aeroponic farms that will supply the city with fresh produce. Another consideration of Tolosa's layout is an urban design and transportation system that makes it possible for residents to always be within only a 15-minute commute of key locations and services such as offices, schools, parks, shops, and restaurants. Unlike the line, which will be completely pedestrian-centric with a focus on mass transit, Tolosa will use a mix of carefully planned transit systems and autonomous electric vehicles. The city will make use of the superblock concept of urban planning, wherein heavier traffic is concentrated over on the borders of the block, while bikes and slow-moving EVs will be given priority on inner streets. This achieves two goals. One, ensuring that people can easily move around between blocks, and second, so that residential areas will be far enough away from major streets to avoid excessive noise. The construction of Tolosa will be divided into two phases. The first phase is ambitiously set to be completed by the year 2030. By this point in the development, the city would be capable of housing as many as 50,000 residents over an area of 6 square kilometers, which is roughly twice the size of New York Central Park. Once completed, the second phase of the development aims to fully build the rest of the city over the course of the next 40 years. Over 5 million people are expected to live within the city by this point, with a total area of more than 120 square kilometers. By comparison, the city of Tolosa will be as big as the city of San Francisco, but with more than 6 times its population living in the same area. In total, the entire project is estimated to cost as much as $400 billion to complete, with funding primarily coming from potential private investors and federal and state grants. In comparison, Saudi Arabia's The Line is estimated to cost a similar $500 billion, which, unlike Tolosa, is completely funded by Saudi's sovereign wealth fund, and by extension, the Saudi government. With Tolosa's highly ambitious plan and vision for the future, Mark Lohr and his team have to overcome one of the biggest hurdles with the construction of planned cities like these: funding. It's not exactly easy to convince the government and private investors to lend you billions of dollars into creating a vision that may not be fully realized. And even though Tolosa promises to be different by saying that its people will be at the center of the city's development, it will still need a huge sum of money to even begin this insane megaproject. But despite all the mounting environmental and financial challenges, and with no construction work having been started more than a year after the project was first announced, Mark Lohr and his team are still optimistic and determined to fulfill their vision of the most sustainable and inclusive city in the world by the year 2030. What do you think Tolosa would be able to do differently compared to Neom? Do you think Tolosa will ever be completely built? Let us know in the comments down below.
This. Okay, there we go. So, so that's Tolosa by the used to be CEO of Walmart. Let me get rid of this. In his project now, 2030, they're supposed to they're be done with phase 1. That's 5 years, right? Did you happen to see or you, Robert, did y'all see where Trump was talking about granting grants to the top 10 builders of the smart cities? Did y'all see that?
I did not.
I missed that.
Let me see if I can find it while we're talking.
Although I did find it interesting that the city there was named after Telos.
Right?
It's like, oh, well, that's not necessarily, that autonomous creation itself was a little scary. I don't know if you want your city to be known for that thing. I mean, I guess you're protected, but yeah, it's a little...
All right, here, let's watch this real quick.
Generations of Americans pursued big dreams and daring projects that once seemed absolutely impossible. They pushed across an unsettled continent and built new cities in the wild frontier. They transformed American life with the interstate highway system. Magnificent it was. And they launched a vast network of satellites into orbit all around the Earth. But today, our country has lost its boldness. Under my leadership, we will get it back in a very big way, If you look at just 3 years ago, what we were doing was unthinkable. How good it was, how great it was for our country. Our objective will be a quantum leap in the American standard of living. That's what will happen. Here are just a few of the ways we can do it. Almost 1/3 of the land mass of the United States is owned by the federal government, with just a very, very small portion of that land, just a fraction, 1/2 of 1%. Would you believe that? We should hold a contest to charter up to 10 new cities and award them to the best proposals for development. In other words, we'll actually build new cities in our country again. These freedom cities will reopen the frontier, reignite American imagination, and give hundreds of thousands of young people and other people, all hardworking families, a new shot at home ownership and, in fact, the American dream. Another big opportunity is in transportation. Dozens of major companies in the United States and China are racing to develop vertical takeoff and landing vehicles for families and individuals. Just as the United States led the automotive revolution in the last century, I want to ensure that America, not China, leads this revolution in air mobility.
Not China.
These breakthroughs can transform commerce, bring a giant infusion of wealth into rural America, and connect families and our country in new ways. Likewise, through our Strategic National Manufacturing Initiative, which is going to be very big and very, very successful, we will turn forgotten communities into hives of industry, producing the goods we will no longer import from China.
Industry.
We will also have a major initiative on lowering the cost of living with a special focus on lowering the cost of a new car and lowering the cost to build a single-family home. And they will be beautiful homes. And I will ask Congress to support baby bonuses for young parents to help launch a new baby boom.
So yeah, he's also talking about giving money to parents to have children, which I think is a good idea. And I'm not even saying what he's saying aren't bad, or I'm not saying they're bad ideas. What my thing is like what is their biggest issue? Funding, right? And what is he saying? Like, hey, we're gonna sign 10 new contracts for people with the 10 best ideas for these smart cities. That he wants a quantum leap in the standard of living for the average American. He wants to put, with, I guess not him, but one of those ideas is putting 6 times the amount of people within the same area as San Francisco.
Right.
Like, what could possibly go wrong with putting all those people so close together in a society that is owned by who?
Yeah.
A city
Bill
owned by
Gates.
who?
Bill Gates.
Yeah, that's one of them, right? That's one of them. So, yeah, what are your thoughts, Robert?
Oh, it's going to be big. It's going to be huge. It's going to be the most beautiful, biggest, wonderful place that will be built. And everybody will love to be there. It'll be great. It'll be great. And everybody be all peaceful. There'll be so much love in the land.
And the chips, they won't hurt that bad, and they'll help you do a lot of stuff.
Oh, just a little chip. It's nothing. Just a little poke.
Yeah, dude, it's quite intense. Oh, it looks like we got Frankie B joining us. Good to see you, brother.
Hey, what's up, guys? I completely forgot I'm at work. Completely forgot.
No worries, bro. We get it. It's been a minute, right, since we did it, so I have no right to hold anyone's feet to the fire. So
look at you and Kyle together. Look at that. All right.
Yeah. So you kind of missed in the beginning. Kyle's here now in Utah. He just lives like 10 minutes down the road from me, and
Sweet.
And so we're gonna be changing our screen. We're gonna be doing some stuff. Maybe updating the lighting, updating some cameras and stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited for that change. A lot has got to happen before that, but yeah, I'm excited for, like being able to literally look at someone Don't get me wrong. Love you, Robert. Love you, Frankie. But being able to actually talk with someone's pretty awesome. But yeah, welcome. We're talking about smart cities. We just watched the clip from Trump saying that he's going to give out contracts to build 10 new cities to the people with the best idea. And then previous to that, we were watching about Telso, Tolusa, which is named after a Greek god, but is kind of the brainchild of the former CEO of Walmart, and his desire to make this 15-minute city.
How old is that Trump video?
This is just right before he actually took office.
Oh, all right. So this is these plans are up and coming. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And so I actually want to bring this up. I think this is a good time to bring it up. Isn't it kind of interesting that the things that the Georgia Guidestone were calling for are kind of coming to fruition?
Right as they destroyed them.
Right as they destroyed.
That's always what they say. That right there was like a ritual in itself.
Well, think about like specifically get rid of useless bureaucracies and officials.
And officials
and that's like that's a good idea. We shouldn't be paying those taxes to all that stupid stuff. But at the same time, it's like they did that on purpose.
Mm-hmm. And I think there's something after that where it's replace them with something. But
yeah. Everything they replace it with, it's never better.
It's always going to end up 10 times worse. More
control, more liberty lost. Yeah.
So ultimately, Satan runs these cities in his way. That's why you don't have autonomy and freedom in these places. You won't be able to, probably you won't be able to carry firearms.
Yeah,
that's what the police are there for.
Yeah,
you won't.
And they probably won't even have police. They'll probably be robots. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
They won't even need police because, like it was showing with the Saudi Arabia clip, you'll just have one app and you'll get an email saying, "Hey, we saw you litter. Pay this fine."
Exactly.
Right? Like they don't even need to send police to your house to write you the ticket.
And I almost guarantee it'll be somewhat like what you see in movies like Elysium, for instance, which that was, in some colony in space, but the idea of a breakaway civilization doesn't necessarily matter where it is. It's just that they have technologies that you don't have access to, and it almost creates this imbalance where
it's like a class system.
Exactly.
Yeah,
which already exists in a way, but all those people in that class system all want this because it benefits them in the end. It allows them to
They want to extend their life so that they can have servants for longer, so they can have more.
It goes down to their theology and their philosophy, their belief systems about who they are, their inherited right to rule over us as gods, essentially. They literally believe this.
Yeah, and why would they want to die, right? Like, that's why they're so obsessed with merging with machines or extending their life, because they don't want to pay the piper, right?
Yeah, they want to escape judgment and find another way to live eternal life.
Yep. Yeah. Good luck. I think even if you get that, it's not going to be for very long.
Nope. It will not be.
So had you ever seen that, Robert? Any thoughts about what he was saying and kind of the issue, or how they were talking about the main thing that they need is funding, and then Trump is talking about literally funding these 10 cities?
Oh, we have so much money out there now. Once he cuts all this waste and all this greed, and once they cut the space program. Oh wait, no, I don't think we're going to touch that. Yeah, they'll get money. They'll find it. They'll fiat currency, digital something. It'll be done if they want it done. Promissory getting profit on the back end.
Oh yeah, right. And how efficient these cities are going to be. They're going to be making money hand over fist, right? Because everyone's going to be in a 3x3 box paying $2,000, but all their other needs are taken care of. Here, eat this, insect bar. for your protein, your daily protein. Look at this picture that what I'm sharing. Like that's what they're like, look at what this evil God has given us, and look at what we're gonna turn it into. We're gonna turn this place into heaven, right? We're gonna turn
Looks like
this
your
place.
backyard in Utah.
Huh?
Looks like it's gonna be in your backyard.
Yeah, in fact, that was one of the places they said is
a possibility.
That,
yeah,
smart city. Yeah, that's already made the agreement for that. So possibly.
Yeah, and I don't think it's gonna be. And me and my wife were talking about this. I don't think it's gonna be escapable. Like, you're not gonna be able to go to a country in the world, a place in the world where when this net is thrown, it's not going to take over, right? And they're going to have to do it because you could do a smart city all day long, but what if you give it some type of defensive measures and now it's looking at China and, like, just think of all the issues that could come up with this if the smart cities, like, let's say it kind of goes the way of the corporation and you have all of this technology that doesn't fit together. Like if you're in Houston smart city, you can't go to the Dallas city.
I'm sure
right?
you will, and I'm sure that there's always connections for business in other places with those smart cities.
Yeah.
Like they're going to interact with each other, but
I think it's going to be like Hunger Games, where our capital city was the main city, and you'll have to be of a certain type of compliance to live in that city, and a certain type of wealth.
Well, yeah,
we're not even going to be in these cities.
There's that movie In Time with Justin Timberlake where like they get to a certain age and then they never age anymore, but they have a clock on their arm, like a digital readout, and they have to pay hours and days and months to go from like the slums to the rich neighborhood. So it limits people by basically their money. Yeah, it's really interesting. It gets rid of, health issues and all these other things, but then now you got to worry about time. So I think this picture really indicates what they're promising. They're promising like all of these social, economical issues that we face that causes all of this, wealth inequality, right? We're going to create these places that solve all those problems for us. No longer is a person's finger going to be on the button. It's going to be an AI, right? And that AI is going to be fair. It's like, who programmed the AI again?
There's always going to be something other than because the contradiction of an artificial intelligence itself would suggest that there's something intelligent behind it. It's like they're claiming that
it's almost going to become its own life and know the true good and evil. You know what I mean?
Kind of. I mean, it almost is like the ghost in the machine. Like some kind of talking idol potentially.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what they.
That reminds me of the Pink. Oh, sorry, Kyle.
No, go
that
ahead.
Reminds me of the Pink Floyd song, "Welcome to the Machine."
Welcome
to the smart.
Welcome to the machine. And he's like, "Tell me what you dream. Never mind, we already told you what to dream."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the smart city.
Yeah. No, totally. Any thoughts there,
I really
Robert?
think it's going to be like Hunger Games. How these smart cities are going to be just for the elites, and we're going to be the workers in the outside cities feeding them.
Yeah, and he was
unsmart.
In that Trump talk that he was just doing, like it almost is he's like, we're gonna have this quantum leap, and I feel like where they're headed is they want to make like the current cities, they kind of want to like sweep those and use those for the like areas of like industrial stuff. They already have
the impoverished cities at that point.
And all those cities are basically like you working there. You work on the machines that need to keep going, right? For this,
keep the smart cities up
and running.
Yeah, because that's exactly right. all of those systems are going to require maintenance, and at this point, robots can't do it all. So
yeah, and who knows? Obviously, they can take that to the moon and back. But just my point is like they could turn our cities like Detroit into these hubs of autonomous, refining and stuff, and then have these new areas out here that have never been developed.
I can almost, just based off you saying that, I can almost bet that it just sounds so perfect for Trump to say. Just be like, and Detroit, we're going to reinvigorate Detroit. We're going to turn it back to where it was, but 10 times better. It's going to be the new Detroit. It's going to produce 10 times the amount of cars it produced. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, switch to the location 2050, and it's like robots or,
automated.
Yeah. Well, that new ID, I think that new ID that they came out with, the Real ID, I think it's called, I think that had something to do with it, too.
Real ID, I definitely think is a part of it, but I think that in itself was just a testing program because it was never required in a lot of areas. But I think they just, they're kind of their ultimate goal with all these tests and these, seeing what they can do with Wi-Fi and its capability. Like, they didn't make all of these devices and conveniences just for our convenience, right? Like, there is what is that called? When you make a deal with the devil, Gaussian deal. Like, I think smart cities are 100% a Gaussian deal that you will not recognize until it's too late. And I feel like, just real quickly with Revelation talking about the mark of the beast, right, will cause all those free and like that. If you live in a city, definitely a smart city where they know where you are and where you'll be and who you'll be with, like that kind of, like, just imagine, I'm not saying the whole story is true, but just imagine if the character of Hitlerio had the modern technology that we have, like how more of a sophisticated,
takeover it would have been.
Hollow cast that you could do. You know what I mean? Like, take over, longer than Night of the Long Nights, right? Like all of those type of things would be, you wouldn't even have to have people there, right? It could just be drones at that point. And so, it's pretty crazy.
Just a higher level of the Matrix, a deeper tracking and knowing what you're thinking, knowing what you're doing, just a higher level of spying on you.
All right, let's.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, let's check out another video.
Countless governments and companies have taken a stab at building a city of the future. There's Songdo in South Korea, the Alphabet-funded Quayside project in Toronto, which was abandoned in May of last year, and both Singapore and Barcelona have tried to modernize with smart sensors. In January of 2021, Saudi Arabia announced plans for its own futuristic city called The Line. Instead of communities sprawling outward from a central location, they would be built vertically and arranged, in a line, hence the name. Even though the vision for the city stretches 170 kilometers, it would do away with cars entirely and instead be connected by high-speed rail that would travel the entire length in just 20 minutes. And each individual community would be largely self-contained so that almost anything you could need, be it a school, a doctor, or a quick meal, would be only a 5-minute walk away. The government says the line will run on 100% clean energy and make extensive use of sensors and AI to manage the city's services. And all of this is supposed to be nestled in the pristine natural landscape of the Tabuk province with minimal impact on the environment. Now the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has revealed grandiose renders of what the city will look like to match the grandiose plans. The line is envisioned as a giant glass and mirrored wall, 170 kilometers long, 200 meters wide, and 500 meters tall. That's taller than the Empire State Building. It would have greenery stretching along the top, an open-air ventilation system to help maintain an ideal climate year-round, and it would house up to 9 million people. Now, the line is just one part of Saudi Arabia's controversial $500 billion NEOM megacity project. For one, the so-called virgin land that the government is building NEOM on is, unsurprisingly, not all that virgin. It is the ancestral and current home of many people, including members of the Hawatat tribe who are being forced from their homes for what many see as a vanity project that won't amount to much in reality. Those who have dared to speak out against the government's plans or refuse to give up their homes have been harassed and abducted by Saudi security forces, arrested, or in some cases killed. For example, Abdul Rahim al-Hawati, a prominent Hawatat activist, was killed by police in April of 2020 after posting videos on social media trying to raise awareness of the forced displacement. All of this controversy has even led to some commercial partners pulling out of deals like Riot Games, which had signed on NEOM to sponsor the League of Legends European Championship. Backlash from the gaming community caused that to quickly unravel. Now, even if NEOM is eventually built and lives up to its lofty promises, there will still be plenty of more cause for concern. The line is expected to be loaded with countless sensors, cameras, and facial recognition technology that, in such a confined space, could push government surveillance to almost unthinkable levels. Now, that would be troubling in any nation, but in a country like Saudi Arabia where homosexuality is outlawed, LGBTQ people are persecuted, and women hold almost no rights, it's downright terrifying.
All right, let's jump on to another one of these videos, and then we'll do some more talking.
When you think of Bill Gates, you probably think of Microsoft. Would it surprise you to find out that he's also known around the world as Farmer Bill? He's earned this nickname due to the fact that he now owns more farmland than anyone else in America. It's estimated that Gates owns at least 242,000 acres of farmland, the equivalent of 1/3 of the land in the entire state of Rhode Island. About 10% of those land holdings were acquired in 2017 and have been set aside for a 25,000-acre smart city in the middle of the Arizona desert. Welcome to Belmont, Arizona, future home to Bill Gates' smart city. In today's video, we'll take a look at what Bill Gates' plans are for the city, how much it will cost, and what he's done so far to make this dream a reality. In early November 2017, Gates threw around the idea in a debate about the need to invest in smart cities. The billionaire philanthropist then made headlines when a group heads by Gates' investment group, Cascade Investments LLC, purchased thousands of acres of land in the desert near Phoenix, Arizona, for $80 million. The plan for the massive plot of land, which is about 45 minutes west of downtown Phoenix, is to build one of the world's first smart cities from scratch. This Jetson-themed city will be named after the real estate developer behind the project, Belmont Partners. It is intended to be a forward-thinking community having a backbone of both communication and infrastructure that embraces cutting-edge technology. It will be built from the ground up and will rely completely on smart technology such as high-speed digital networks, data centers, high-speed public Wi-Fi, high-tech manufacturing facilities, and autonomous vehicles. And even though just a few people live in the area now, Belmont said in a statement that the projected geographic size and population of Belmont will be comparable to Tempe, Arizona, which has a population of around 180,000. The city will sit on a huge parcel of undeveloped land, almost 25,000 acres, nearly the size of Paris, just outside of Buckeye, Arizona. The city itself will be set up with 3,800 acres dedicated to retail, office, and commercial space, 470 acres for public schools, and the remainder, nearly 20,000 acres, left for private residences, which will be more than enough to accommodate the 80,000 residential units envisioned for Belmont. The plan will be to translate a blank slate into a purpose-built city built around a flexible infrastructure model. Though there is no one living in Belmont just yet, recent permitting activity around the development suggests commercial and residential construction may be coming in no time. In 2019, it was reported that 2,600 new single-family permits were issued for Belmont, with another 3,000 projected for 2020. These developments may be indications that the Belmont project is getting ready to pick up speed. As Phoenix continues to grow and emerge as a tech hub, Belmont could be the ideal community to meet the needs of the incoming population. So why did Gates' team pick Arizona? The large area purchased by Gates is almost entirely undeveloped desert land, making it an ideal location for a technological experiment of the type that's planned at Belmont. Indeed, the total lack of structures and infrastructure will make it possible to develop and shape the new urban center in a very unique and specific way. In addition to the low cost of land in the Arizona desert, Arizona offers very attractive solar energy opportunities, which will be critical in making Belmont a self-sustainable, smart city. Additionally, with Arizona being amongst the most progressive states when it comes to self-driving regulations, it makes the perfect place for Gates to test out new technologies in a regulatory-friendly area. Other companies such as Waymo, Uber, GM, Ford, and Intel have all tested their self-driving vehicles in Arizona for this reason. There are certainly some drawbacks to the Arizona desert, however, perhaps chief of which is access to water. Although Belmont's proposal includes several methods of low energy consumption, it has thus far failed to address water maintenance, water acquisition, and water conservation. To even initiate the city's development, Gates and his team will bear the heavy burden of proving that there is enough water to supply the residents for at least 100 years. This is a steep challenge, especially in the face of Arizona's current water crisis. Some experts believe that in a worst-case scenario, up to 40% of the Colorado River could dry up by 2050, making part of Arizona almost completely uninhabitable. Bill Gates is not the first wealthy individual to have such loft smart city ambitions. Jeffrey Byrne, the founder of blockchains, is considering a radical experiment in the U.S. state of Nevada, and the former Walmart CEO, Mark Lohr, is just the latest billionaire to have announced a project to build a sustainable city. He left his position at the world's largest retail company to build Telosa, a smart city in the middle of yet-to-be-decided desert, using environmentally friendly architecture and emerging technologies. Even turning existing urban areas into smart cities has become very attractive in recent years. With avant-garde cities such as Dubai, Singapore, and Barcelona betting on innovation and seeking to implement smart technologies in already existing urban areas to digitize every aspect of life in the city and simultaneously reduce its environmental impact. Even though Belmont is not close enough to being finished, with Gates' financial and technological backing, the smart city has the potential to break new ground for technological and sustainable efforts across the world. What are your thoughts on the proposed smart city of Belmont?
I do know that if he does a really good job in vaccines and healthcare, that he can reduce the population by 5-10%. So at least he's claimed that before. But you said, and totally true, you said, well, familiar faces, right? The same people that are, that we've seen, grab control in other ways, are present here in this race, right, to grow this smart city. I'm sure Microsoft would love to control an entire city's amount of people.
That'd be an amazing project. I'm sure that just the lucrative part alone would be enough to sell it. You could give up any morals to create that.
Yeah, and get people to go along with it, right? Like, definitely if it's like, hey, we sacrifice this kid to the gods, we get to live in this beautiful paradise, and that child gets to go out of this world giving us all this amazing debauchery, Thank you, kid, for sacrificing yourself.
I wouldn't honestly be surprised if the ascension of these things was also coinciding with the return of the ancient ways of worshiping Baal and Molech, and openly, anyways, not just behind closed doors, but back to the ways it was in ancient times. And I think they tell us that is their eventual goal. It's that it becomes projected outwards. That's their magnum opus, anyway.
Isn't it interesting? Like in not all, but in a lot of fantasies, you always have it's the vampires, or it's they want to rule the world. They don't want to hide anymore. They want to come out into the, and it's usually this dark side stuff They come out and they're like, we should rule. We shouldn't be hiding. And that same kind of idea where that's what they want. They're like, we're the rulers. Like, we shouldn't have to hide from these peasants, right?
Yep.
What can they do to us? And they definitely want to implement a city where any type of protest or trying to uprise against the, like, I think that's one of their main reasons why they want to do a from the ground up projects as opposed to retrofitting within a already urbanized environment, is they can't account for all those back doors and all those basements and all the, you know what I mean, like
hidden tunnels that
already were there that got boarded up and no longer on the prints.
They have to dig up the entire earth, make sure it's clean, and then build an infrastructure around it that they can control
100%.
They create all those loopholes and back doors and secret tunnels that they control.
Or the rebels, the rebellion. You know what I mean? From Star Wars, they're like the evil empire.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're doing, right? When we read scripture, we know that there's going to be this evil empire that's going to come and eventually cause all those great and small to take a mark on their, you know. So, like, we know that they're trying to do this. They would love smart cities. You know what I mean? And Trump saying he's going to fund it, right? Like, I'm just saying, like, you know, I'm not I'm not a black pill, what is the word? Seller, but, peddler. I'm not a black pill peddler. I don't want people to live in fear and stuff, but I do, again, like in scripture, my people perish for a lack of knowledge, right? Like, we should be able to look at the world and see the evils at work and talk about them, obviously knowing, right, that we're secure. Yeah, like we're literally exactly where we want to be, which is under the wing of the Almighty, and you know, and the priesthood, under the priesthood of His Son. Like,
well, they want us to be part of the Borg, you know, part of the collective.
And he said that hive. He literally said, like, hive,
just like a hive mind, to be part of.
They want us all to think alike. They want us all to be, you know, programmed into their philosophies. Anyone that doesn't.
And think about, right, with Trump's right hand man, Elon Musk, there, right, and his ties to the Neuralink, like,
yep, exactly. He's the perfect. I know we haven't mentioned him before now, but he is.
The board.
Yeah, he is the perfect, like, spokesman for this whole technological revolution. You know, for everyone who believes him, and all his inventions and his huge brain.
Yeah,
I mean,
so smart.
It's so smart. Yeah, he's that perfect spokesman who will sell you that, you know, that ketchup popsicle.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and white gloves. Yeah, it's crazy how many people I see that kind of do worship him and, like, think how great he is. And obviously, if you're a true earther, meaning, like, you believe what the Bible describes, knowing no man is going to be able to tell you the width and the breadth and the height thereof. Like, none of us can know that. Maps are a good way to kind of represent what we think it could be, but other than that, it's like, it's just an imperfect tool to measure something created in perfection. So it's like, we'll never have that capability, in my belief. But with this whole smart city, right? Like, think about this: what we've talked about, Revelation 21, the New Jerusalem, right? That's minus the robots, minus all that, right? Like, we are going to live in an actual smart city.
Not a actual utopia that we can't even, as humans, in our, you know, in our minds that we're corrupted in being in the world, we can't even imagine what that's like. But that is what it's going to be. It's going to be an entire city of abiding people.
And would you mind living in that type of city with that type of king? You know what I mean? I
would feel so like I don't deserve to be here at that point. You know, I'd be so grateful. I'd be grateful enough to be
for a room and a broom.
Yeah, for a room and a broom. Exactly. Be your gardener. I'd work 24/7. I'd work in the rain, in the cold, outside. I don't care. You know, it's like, because that's the real truth of what the kingdom actually is, and there's nothing man can offer that's even close.
Yeah. You come to say hi, Valor? All right. I love you, buddy.
It's quiet time.
Okay.
That's my time.
Okay. Go, guys. Nope. You gotta give that to Mom tonight. Sorry, guys. My sons, it's their quiet time when they get ready and they get an hour to chill out in bed before they need to have eyes shut. But oh my gosh, good to see you, Marsha. We've all have had you in our hearts and in our prayers, and we definitely miss you, and we definitely want to see you feeling better. So hope all is going as well as it could be, and I hope you stay in high spirits, sister, because we sure do love you. So. Yeah, so I guess I kind of ranted there, and then you helped me, Robert, Frankie. I guess let's hear from Robert first. Kind of your thoughts about weaving in your faith and your belief, and kind of knowing what at least Scripture says is gonna come, right? And kind of speculating how that ties into smart cities and its role to play within the future. In our future. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and then I'd love to hear Frankie too.
Keep wondering what the Babylon is going to be. Everyone's got their ideas, but I know that one of the things it talks about is the marketplaces, and no one will be able to shop, and no one will be able to do all this and there, and they're being very sad about the loss of the city, this great city. So
we're getting a lot of feedback from you, Frankie. I apologize, bro.
How come all these are in the desert? And whenever I see all those, I think of Sam Kinison.
You know what I think about? I think about Babylon, actually. I think about how it wasn't utterly destroyed, right? Like there were some stones left upon one another, like if it is where they at least claim it is, I don't know, but the reason why I bring that up is because it's always interesting that they're trying to take a place that is death, right, and bring it to life. I think it's a sign. It's almost we're gods. We can take, how I kind of showed that other picture, this one right here.
Take death to
right?
Life.
Take this ugly God, gave us, and we created, and which is right. That's what we want to do, right? That's what we should have done. Is this whole earth should have been the Garden of Eden extended, right? But we obviously fell short. So, but that's the thing is think about all the things they're saying. Isn't it really good that you're 5 minutes away from a hospital no matter where you are, right? No matter where you are, your child falls down the things and they get hit unconscious, right? And they start convulsing. In 5 minutes, you're going to be at a doctor. That is beautiful, right? How many people that will help. But that's always how they spin it. They always provide all of these beautiful benefits, right? The convenience of Netflix as an example. And once that is accepted, then at that point they have the control and they can switch it off. They can change like YouTube, right? They can literally have this city, this corporation, and they change their terms of service, and now you're no longer allowed medicine. You're no longer allowed to get food from the thing, right? Like your only objective is to, think about it, is to leave the line, which is how far away from another city. So how would you even get there? What if the process of the you know the transhumanism things that they do requires a patented chemical administered every day in order for you, like, so they're like, oh well, we let you go. We never agreed that we would provide that for you. You can buy that, but here's an exorbitant fee. Oh, you don't have that cost? Oh, you can't be in the line? Here, we have this work camp, right, where you can go to pay yourself out, right? And it's like, it's as corporations, they will do that. They will exploit people, and they're selling, but at the same time, right, they're selling it as if it's some beautiful deal. Like, these rich and powerful people want to create a place where everything is equitable and everyone gets luxury and everyone gets the best services, right? Not telling you how they're going to control it. And you brought up before Elysium, right? Where it's like, if you have the right chip in you, you can just go up and down anytime you want.
And you know what's interesting is this, over the last 5-6 years, the uprise in the supposed med beds that are so popular, where it's like that's gonna be the technology that saves everyone and lets everyone live for 200-300 years or whatever. It's these med beds. It's like, well, even if they did have that technology, unfortunately, it's gonna be like this movie over here, where they're going to have that technology and you are not going to have access to it unless you literally go to war with them. But it never ends in the end. It never, ends well for you in the end.
Yeah, they have the money for the bunkers or whatever. You would and that's why violence is never the option, right? Like, you're never going to be able to find the evil one and slay him before his time. Like, he has a very specific time and destruction and all of that jazz, and you're not gonna, achieve world peace and world harmony without Christ being here. Like, that's his job. That's his
literally vengeance is his.
Yeah. So, Frankie B, I'd love to hear your kind of thoughts about, including with scripture, and I know you have a different eschatology than most of us, which is totally fine, but like, kind of from your perspective, I guess, like, would you kind of see it as a benefit? I guess it depends how far preterist you go, because, like, if it's already done and over with, then all these benefits in smart cities would actually be showing that it's Christ's rule, and that's why everything is so efficient and equitable and etc. Go ahead.
Well, it seemed to me, what came up in my spirit is they're rebuilding Rome. And Rome was the Mecca of the world. And they want to make this the Mecca of these smart cities, the Mecca of the world. And part of me is leaning that we're living in the short season where Satan has been released and all have been deceived. And all these great lies are just covering up that there is no salvation. They don't want you to believe in God. They don't want you to choose Christ as your Savior. They want you to follow them and stay and give your soul to the devil as an eternity of existence. They don't. Everything is anti-God in this realm we are living in. Everything is anti-God. And that's why I believe the deception is so strong, because we are living in a time where possibly Satan has been released, to deceive the nations. What better way to deceive the nations is to hide the fact that Christ already reigned and was the king of this realm, and he governed and ruled with his saints. Now we're left to continually waiting for Christ to come back when they're hiding that deception from you and they're portraying themselves as God. And I think this realm is being run by a bunch of fallen angels that are deceiving mankind into believing that they're trying to just tell you that there is no God. Everything in media, everything in our programming, the way we were brought up, there is no God.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree with that point. Obviously, in the eschatology, we're a little different. What I do agree with you on is that, but see, I think there is a very fine pendulum. So what I mean by that is like when they swing it too far one way, that there is no other choice because of the way like that the Father created the system, it will swing back that other way. And we kind of see that right now with like just the political field, right? I'm not saying like you're in politics and you're voting, I'm not talking about that. But I'm saying how right now the tea movement, the maps thing, right? Like all of that has been said, no, we don't want any of that. That has done a big pushback, right? But at the same time, like it seems like it's like that pushback, like the swing is always good. No, but that's now parred up. That's now set the ball for Trump and the like to come and smash some of these things down, which, like we've been talking about this whole time, seem like it's a good deal. It seems like it's, why wouldn't we do this? Look, we're going to save all the lives from the car crashes. We're going to save all the fossil fuels. We can use these fossil fuels in a smarter way to produce more energy as opposed to using them in vehicles. We can provide everyone with transportation, right? And at first it's like a grand opening of a store, right? Mm-hmm. Their prices are really good. Their customer service is really good. The experience that you had at that grand opening, it was so good that they hope that will give them enough like social credit, right, to roller coast down to your oblivion, right? And that you accepted it. You went along with the plan because it was good to you at the beginning.
Except for this time, it's beyond anyone's probably wildest dreams when it comes to your capabilities. If you're like really within this threshold of finance where you can be a part of this thing, I can't imagine the type of things they may offer you to try to sell you on, like to why it's good to live here. Like it can't just be just a ordinary type city with some.
It has features. To be a quantum leap.
It's gotta be this quantum leap, which I bet requires just an entire leap of in every single field of like entertainment and everything, where it's like its own little where everything would be fed almost like you think of like North Korea, where everything supposedly it's its own little, no one knows anything outside of what they're told there. I feel like that's what it would become in one generation. It would just be this.
Well, that takes me back to the Hunger Games. It's capital city. They want these capital cities, and every other city would feed these cities, and only the elite would live there. There's going to be business opportunities. There's going to be stores in there. There's going to be people running businesses, and they're going to try and sell you on that opportunity. Hey, come in, bring your business. You'll be able to make money. Da 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 da. You know what I mean? Entrepreneurship. It's just It's just a whole nother way of getting all the outskirts. If they put everybody in these cities, say they have 7 or 8 of them, and they fit all of America into these smart cities, then all the rest of the land becomes theirs. People move out of the suburbs. People move out of, you live in Utah, you live in a suburb. You move out of that. You move into the smart city because you're promised a dream.
Bro, they
Then
could literally
that
have
land, then all that land that is left becomes theirs.
they could literally have like backed by the like a central bank digital currency. You could have currencies per cities that run on the blockchain, right? So like your digital dollar, like when you sell your house in modern, like our current modern city, and you move to this futuristic city, you get X amount of digital currency for your real value dollars, right? And think about how easily that people would choose that if they're like, and in this city, right, each of your dollars, like in buying power, is actually worth $100 in buying power, right?
Right. They increase your wealth, but then they're taking all the land.
Yeah.
All right, I give up my house here, and I move into a smart city. Now they own that house. Now they own all this land, and now they can wipe out all these houses and build another smart city.
Yep.
Or build whatever they want, or make it farmland, make it a solar field, do whatever they want with it to feed the smart city.
Yep.
Exactly.
It's like giving you a carrot and leading you. It's like the Pied Piper. They're playing a song and they're leading you into these cities, and they're promising you wealth and opportunities, and they're giving you triple the value of your house so that you would have money to live in the smart city. They're providing you with jobs, opportunities to work in the smart city, but it's all a lie because you're now in a controlled. Now you have no freedom of speech. Now you literally have no freedom of speech.
Yeah, because you're now on
You get out
private
of line-
property.
you get out of line,
That
they
smart
can
city
take
is a
credits away
private
from you.
property.
Yeah, well, they can take credits away from you. You won't have private property. You'll be renting off of them.
That's what I'm
You'll
saying.
own
I'm
nothing
saying
and be happy.
the smart cities will be privately owned, right? So that huge, how many ever big that is, like the line, right? That is a private property. You can't not be the line and just go in there, right? Like you have to have got approval to go inside of that place. With a modern city, right? I don't have to like go sign in somewhere in Chicago to let them know, hey, Chicago, I'm here, right? I don't need access
That real
from.
ID is. That real ID is trackable. Now they know that you're in Chicago.
No, yeah, and they definitely right now are doing it in the shadows. 100%. They are grabbing this information from our data, from our cell phones, from wherever they can, right? But none of it is an integrated system yet.
Yep.
It's all kind of piecemeal, all separated. With a smart city and building it from the ground up, all of the components had a forethought behind them on why they're using those devices created by that manufacturer, that etc. With the component, all of that information is thought out. You're not going to go to Best Buy and buy a Sony TV or a whatever. It's going to be like, this is the TVs that are in this place, right? Like it. I'm just telling you, it's gonna be corporatized. It's gonna be very.
You're gonna own nothing, and you're gonna be happy.
Yeah. You don't own that building. You own the community, and you make the community better by being a productive member of society and doing the task that was assigned to you because they did a computer test that said you were the best at this, and this is what you should do. Like they're gonna try any and all means to seductively get people to move to these places. They're going to offer money. They're going to offer jobs and opportunity. They're going to offer all of these things, and it's going to be a bait and switch.
There'll be no ownership. You won't need a car because you live in the smart city. You can walk to wherever, or jump on a tram car, or some type of travel that they'll have in the smart city. Like busing, or not even busing, but probably tram cars.
Dude, they could bust out technology that they've been hiding from us. You know what I mean? Like,
you'll own nothing, and you'll be happy.
And you missed.
Your apartment will have everything it needs in it. It'll have TVs. If you need a replacement TV, you'll be able to get a replacement TV. You'll have everything you need in it. You'll have food will probably be delivered to you in this smart city.
Dude, they'll know that the TV is broken before you do. They will schedule someone to come out because they knew you just woke up 10 minutes and you got out of the shower, and per their calculations, you're already dressed. So that they're going to like that. Their goal is to literally be able to schedule as much as possible so that they can find where people aren't on the schedule, right? Like where those, you know, the greasy, or the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? Like the tallest nail gets the hammer, right? So it's like they're gonna start using that data to do that, and smart cities is 100% a way that they're going to do that. They're moving towards that. What way and shape and form that actually is brought forth, you know, we have no idea. But Frankie, you didn't see it, but I showed the Trump. He's saying he's going to pay for 10 companies to get their projects funded. That he's going to create 10 new cities called Freedom Cities, in which they're going to be these smart, integrated, smart cities. And so and he's a builder, and, I just feel like that's in the cards for something that he's going to have on his plate. He's going to be remembered for, and who knows what happens at the end of these 4 years, but yeah, it's crazy. We didn't even get through all of the things, so I just want to go through some more. So, smart city transforming Oahu's cities through sustainable efforts in urban informatics. So, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but them just basically saying, like, it would be a smart idea to have a smart city with the rise and prominence of smart cities imagined as new urban standard built for green design and urban informatics. So basically, right, we want to create this utopia and accounts for all the different things. And this is Hawaii EDU, right? This isn't some conspiracy website. This is what they want to do and talk about it. And so let's watch this. This is how much we got some time. Let's watch. We got a few short ones. Let's watch these real quick. React to them as we watch them.
So look at this. You're in London. You're on a business trip. You're staying in Greenwich, and you want to buy some food. So you go into the local Aldi's, like this one, and you think, I'm going to go in here and buy some food so that I can feed myself. And then you approach the barrier, and look, you can't even get in the shop without having a QR code to scan here, or to scan here, and then you can go in and buy things. Now this looks to me like the beginning stages of the digital prison that we keep talking about. What do you think?
It's literally mind-boggling, the technology that when they get right, like I do some of the stuff I do for my work is cameras, and I'm not gonna bring the corporation their names, but like I can literally create rules to count people that cross an imaginary line, and I can say, oh, there are 10 people that went in that room. Turn on cameras in that room, right? Like you could know exactly how many, like 2 people walk in, 1 walks out. It would calculate that. Okay, now there's 33 people in there.
It's keeping track of and they really pushed that during COVID, where they were like showing how we need to keep people 6 feet apart from each other, and they were really pushing this the facial tracking and showing how they could show who came and who went and keep track of everybody in every part, and literally just have a database of what everyone's doing all the time without fail.
Yeah, they did that, like through digital, like kind of footprints, right? Where if you and another person were in the same area grabbing the same Wi-Fi, and y'all typically don't, they typically have different main Wi-Fi connections. Okay, well, that we know those 2 people were together, right? And how far they can truly take that is literally insane.
Yeah, that's insane.
Here, let's watch this real quick.
Yes, president and founder of the Anti-Globalist Alliance and co-founder of the Sovereignty Coalition, Reggie Littlejohn. Thank you so much for being back with us. It's great to see you, Reggie.
Thank you for having me back, Allison.
Absolutely. Well, I was scouring the internet looking for more updates on the development of these 15-minute cities, and there's just such an overwhelming amount of information out there on the internet. Everything from the C40 cities to the World Economic Forum to the G20 Smart City Alliance. There's just so much that's outlined in the globalists' own documents, and it's a lot to absorb. So break it down for us and explain for those who may not know about the 15-minute smart cities. What are these all about, and how are these various organizations working together to have this implemented?
Well, if you do a Google search, for example, you are going to have to go page after page after page to find out what I'm about to tell you right now. In fact, I don't think I even found it in a Google search. They're really suppressing this information. But these 15-minute cities are being billed as being convenient and also necessary for the environment, so to cut down on car pollution, etc. Question is, how are they going to actually restrict people into a 15-minute radius? What they want is for everybody to be living within 15 minutes, a 15-minute walk or bike ride of everything that you need: food, your job, your doctor, park. Everything. And so, and they're also trying to build this as, oh, this is a great way to build community, get to know your neighbors, etc. Well, how are they going to enforce it? They're going to enforce it through surveillance, and the only way they're going to be able to surveil us is if we have digital IDs. And ultimately, Allison, what this is it's the infrastructure that is needed to shut us down if they want to make it so that we cannot leave.
Yeah, that's exactly where it's headed. I'm curious, is this still on track to be ushered in by 2030? Because we're all about Agenda 2030. I believe this is part of it. But, we've also heard chatter from Biden and Newsom and various others about wanting to outlaw gas-powered vehicles around that same time frame. But I'm not really sure we have the infrastructure to accommodate such absurd propositions. Isn't this sort of the same situation here with these smart cities? I mean, is this even really, truly achievable by 2030?
Well, that's a technological question. I think that technologically, yeah, they could achieve it. I think that the technology already exists to implement this stuff, because we've seen it implemented in China.
Yeah.
All right. So in China, everybody has a digital ID. They have facial recognition. They've got real-time geolocation. They know exactly where you are all the time. They associate through this digital ID. They're able to associate all your social media posts to you. Everything that you buy, everything about you, your bank accounts, your credit cards, and everything. So the technology does exist. It's existed for a while. And whether or not it's going to be implemented worldwide depends on whether people wake up to it and resist it. That's the key there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because
I feel like that's kind of important to what we're talking about, right? Is like people do need to wake up and know this is happening. And no matter what kind of good deal they're trying to throw you away, don't give up your sovereignty for this convenience, right? For this, fake utopia that was built on the ashes of their destruction before. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like most of these cities are going to start from a evil position, and so what do you expect? Like if you're sowing an evil seed into the desert, what are you going to be reaping? Right. You know what I mean? But how seductive. It's going to be so seductive what they're going to offer us.
Oh yeah, people will be envious
Yeah,
of those
see,
who
I
live in
think
the cities.
I think you really just have to give up your free will. It's like Job. The devil could only touch what he feared, what he valued losing was the only thing that he could that the devil could touch. So I think we're living in that deception. You give up your free will. You move into one of these cities, you're locked in there. You're never leaving it. You're giving up your land. You're giving up everything. You're giving up your freedom and
your rights to your children.
Yeah, well, and also they might just dry up all the work outside of these cities, forcing you to move into them.
Oh, dude, if I don't have to pay my bills, and all I have to do is like get enough food for my family during the day, I'm just saying, like, I feel like that's super accomplishable. Like, you just need seeds, right? And chickens.
But if you aren't, if
you don't have all these other things,
if you don't have an immediate
you gotta pay
solution
your taxes,
for
you
the
gotta
problem,
pay your real estate
then
taxes.
it'll take time to develop that.
Yeah, it's true. It's not going to be instant. I'm just saying, like,
well, no,
I don't know. I think I get what you're saying. I just think there would be a pendulum swing where as people are willing to give over their free will to these cities, people are also are so willing to get their milk from milking it every morning.
People are wanting to return to the old ways.
Yeah.
There's this division
Owen Benjamin says the past is the future. Which is really good rhetoric.
Paradox, and it's absolutely true.
Knuckleheads moving into these smart cities, and they start drying up the old cities, and there's no work in them. The old cities are anarchy. You're taxed so that you don't have any work. You have to pay your real estate taxes to own your land that you really don't own anyway. It's just a way of driving you into that smart city. Those that hold on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it could go to that where it's like, okay, life is going to change drastically. You're either going to sign up for such a convenient, beautifully looking life, right? At least from the outside, or living a rough, like, barely getting by, without, not including the Lord's blessings that he would shine upon those people. But I'm saying, yeah, that's definitely not going to be an easy task or an easy challenge to be in front of one of us. So sweet. All right, well, let's go ahead and say our goodbyes, our final thoughts, our goodbyes. I do want to make a quick announcement to the 12 people that are still here and those that watch after. We got 3 episodes coming up. The schedule will be out within the next day. Next, we're going to be talking about autonomous logistics, and we kind of talked about with the cities and maybe them using the current cities as like the bones of creating this like autonomous. Like, they would love to have as fully as autonomous as they can, where they can just let robots do it. Now, you're going to have people contribute into that process, right? And but you only need so many robot polishers, right?
I agree.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that. Then we're going to follow that up. We're going to talk about about AI integration. So we already kind of talked about AI and what it is, and like it's kind of jokeable right now, but we definitely see it becoming a factor in the end times, right? Like they're gonna create an idol that can walk and talk that's made out of gold and silver, right? Like they're definitely trying to blaspheme God in that manner, create their own God per se. But I don't know. And just quick little gravy here is: did you hear that Mark Zuckerberg? He says he wants to move away from phones, and we kind of talked about this earlier, and go to glasses. And so how easy they could track so many people and so many habits and things that we normally wouldn't see or being paying attention to. But when you put it in a learning algorithm, they're starting to get information that you would, only like the best mentalists would be able to get.
And I think most people's natural, logical thought would be to, of course, have some overlay over my face, and then eventually maybe just have it like implanted in me, or have contact lenses or something like that. But I mean, look at it today. People are like, we have video games, we're playing on a screen, or we're holding the screen. We're moving the screen and we're holding the screen, and then all of a sudden it becomes, you have the screen over your face, and now,
you don't need to have anything on your face. You just plug in this chip behind your head, and boom, it's right there for you.
We already have that step before that, which is that we have the glasses, we have VR, we have AR, we have,
Yeah, so no, and they're gonna go from, you have glasses, so it's looking at, but you can take the glasses off.
Yeah,
those glasses can break, right? Mm-hmm. But eventually they would be like, and kind of from the ground up, right? You would have to have everyone's eyes.
But they'll sell you the. I mean, that's the thing, is everyone already has a consumeristic mindset to where they sell them an iPhone that was better 4 years prior than the one they just made, but they'll sell it as the new with the new features, and it's literally the same thing. And they'll do the same thing with all this.
Yeah, I maybe not. Maybe it will be more where it's like, these are government provided glasses. Like, you need to have these on.
Probably, if you know. So I bet with some things with like work related.
Yeah.
I guarantee in the future.
Well, they already talk about cops. Like, cops never turn it off. Period. It never goes off. Even when they go to the restroom, it pauses it for like the monitoring, but the data's still there.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So, getting off into the weeds about future, and then after that, we're going to talk about social credit score. I was talking to Francesca about it beforehand, and she was like, "That's the scariest part to me," And I'm like, "Well, they already kind of have it, right? It's not like we were talking about. It's kind of still in the shadows. They don't outrightly say we're doing this." But it's kind of creeping in there, right? And plus, just with the society and all the creeps and weirdos and the things going on, it's like, I see how some of this, like, if people are breaking the law, like, they shouldn't have benefits, and like, you can't get food stamps and be running around gang banging, right?
Yeah,
and then being paid by the government to eat. Like, no, we can't.
That's a broken, corrupt
system. But they incentivize that system to breed, to happen, right? And then
it's
offer the solution to that issue.
It's kind of like where they decide to put, Planned Parenthood clinics, or anything else. It's like, they know where to put those institutions in the inner impoverished cities that are demoralized and broken already, fatherless homes, broken homes.
Yeah.
And it's just they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got 4 scheduled. I'll put that schedule out here very soon. So we're back, and we will be here for the foreseeable future. So I hope y'all are excited about that. I'm gonna throw it to you first, Robert. I'd love to hear your final thoughts and about our topic tonight, and your goodbyes.
Well, I just logged into my thermostats at work. I can see they're unoccupied right now. No one's there. Temperature's good. I can change it if I want. This morning we had some guys at work. I probably could have went in there and turned it down a bit and waited for a phone call for them to call me up, say, hey, what's going on with this thing? Turn it up. But yeah, my boss, he had an alert on his phone. The garage door had opened and closed. What's going on? He's got Amazon connected to his garage. I guess that way when he goes home, he can say, Alexa, open up the garage door, and he just drives into the garage. Well, Amazon also was able to deliver a package and open up his garage, drop off the package, close the garage. When you got these good things, that are conveniences and whatnot, but there's a price. There's a price for that. Those good things. Can you mute it?
There's a Gaussian deal there, isn't there? It's like you're giving up a little bit of your freedom, right? A little bit of your privacy. But it's like, do you ever have that package stolen? Do you ever have, like, it get lost? Like, now, like, it's in the security of your, of your garage. It's not just on your porch. So it's like, it's always sold.
Or anyone can open it.
Yeah, it's just sold as such a, and I get it, right? We're a high trust society for most people, and so it's like we want to believe that people have the best intention and ideas, and for the most part, we're true, right? But it's just that small group of people that have so much power that they can influence in such a way that, that smart cities would definitely take advantage of, no doubt. Well, sweet, bro. I hope you're excited for being back, Robert. It's good to see you and hear your voice and your thoughts. So appreciate you being here, and I hope you have a good week coming up. Just throw it over to you, Frankie B. Love to hear your kind of final thoughts about smart cities and your goodbyes.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't ever happen. They have a lot of wild dreams that most of the time never come to fruition. Just seems like they have so much money they don't know what to do with it. And they just, come up with all these grand delusional ideas. And it's all piggybacked on the let's save humanity. Let's save us from the cows and from ourselves, and it's just ridiculous. So yeah, don't be fearful of it. Just have faith in God and just live your life and live in the fullness of the kingdom. And we have the source. We have God on our side. So He's not going to let us be tempted above what we're able to handle. So we just have to hold into the hope of the gospel, the truth.
I definitely agree with that, brother. And yeah, like there's really nothing impossible, right? Through with God's help. So, who knows how smart cities will be implemented, how tyrannical or how loose and corrupt. There's a lot of things we definitely can predict. We can see they have a desire, a motivation to have these cities, just like they do AI, right, and a God. But that doesn't mean that they're going to get them in the timeline that they desire them. That doesn't mean that they're going to get them in the fullness that they desire them. So I totally agree. Like the trust in the Father that He, there's nowhere you can run to get away from smart cities. I'm not saying sign up and join one, right? I'm just saying like they're gonna probably affect our lives or our children's lives, right? Like,
yeah, someone might work on them, that we know.
Yeah.
Chances are you probably won't know anyone who ever lives in one, because that's the point. You're gonna be like the lesser, species.
Yeah, yeah. And so whatever, right? Like if that's how if it pans out, then glory to the Father. So yeah, I totally agree with that. There's nothing that we should fear, right? We're told 365 times, hey, do not fear. And so don't fear about this. The smart cities, yeah, they're coming. Yeah, they want control. Yeah, they want all of these nefarious things. But ultimately, right, all of this is dust to wind. Anyway, so sweet. I hope y'all guys enjoyed the coming back episode. I had lots of fun talking about it. So many things more to talk about it, and we're really gonna get into kind of some of the niche parts of what will be required in a smart city in the upcoming episodes, and again how those sides of it could and will affect our lives depending on where they land. So again, hope y'all enjoyed. Great to see you. Shalom, everybody. And until next time, remember that Abba loved you first. Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.